You should come out with me. Come on!
Welcome to God Eater 3, the game where characters wear duct tape on their skin for no reason at all. Your weapons can be transformed into giant cannons, and waifu bait waits around every corner. I don't think it gets much more anime than God Eater, and I'm okay with that. So right off the bat, if you're new to this series, I can safely say that you will be lost. I played a few hours of the first two games, and I still don't really understand what's happening. That's not really the game's fault though, as I've had plenty of time to catch up on this anime and to play through the other games. Do keep in mind that this game will not sit you down and explain everything to you, but I'm actually okay with this. Slaying monsters is why I'm in business, and business is good. For starters, you're welcomed to a pretty packed character customization screen with a plethora of options for hairstyles, colors, and accessories. Now, it's no Black Desert Online customization, but you get plenty of options that help you make your character as stylish as you wish. Although there are games that do it better, like I said. I, of course, went with the cat ears to remove all tension from every cutscene in the game.
Come on!
As a Fashion Souls and Fashion Frame player, these things are pretty important to me, and I think God Eater delivers plenty of customization options, even if it's not the best character creator around. You get to unlock more clothing as you progress through the game as well, and you can change many parts of your appearance whenever you want, minus like face and body options. After this, we are introduced to the main cast of the game through a series of training missions and cutscenes. These do a great job of not only teaching you the basics of origami slaying, but they reinforce the new oppressive tone that God Eater 3 is seeming to strive for.
A time-honored end for ages like you and me.
Your friends and yourself are God Eaters, or individuals capable of wielding God Arcs, used to fight back against the Origami Menace. These God Arcs are your transforming weapons used throughout the game that are literally part origami, you know, those same things that you're fighting. The neat spin on this plot, without going into spoiler territory, is that instead of being treated as heroes or saviors of humanity, your fellow God Eaters and yourself are kind of treated like unwanted scum, only used in order to slay the origami in the way. You spend most of your days in handcuffs waiting in a dreary prison-like cell for your next, likely lethal, mission. I really love the introduction to this game, and I think it's a really cool way to get like new players invested into the lore, even if it can be a bit confusing to understand the terminology of the world, at least initially. Besides the story, one of the main motivating factors to grinding through the missions are upgrades that come in multiple forms. You can craft better weapons, shields, and guns, as well as unlock blood arts or special moves for each of the weapons. These blood arts increase in power from being used, so it's always a good idea to read up on exactly how to do these moves and then maximize their effectiveness. You can also buy and craft equipment to bring into the field like healing items, detox items, stun grenades, and much more. Bringing the right tools for the job is important, even if the beginning few hours of the game won't really require much item usage. You will of course also be saving up money and crafting materials to buy unique clothing items to make your characters look fabulous in order to set them apart from the other God Eaters. You acquire these throughout the story, and also get more via the traveling vendor named Hope. She will not always be in the base with you, and only does kind of show up around the 4th difficulty rank or so, which is a couple of hours into the game, but a notification will pop up indicating her presence in between the missions. There are more things to unlock that give you a greater edge in combat as well. Burst plugins will give you an additional effect while in burst mode, and God Arc skills are like passive buffs for your build, like additional HP, stamina, etc. These improve with level, so just keep on grind until you get the good stuff. Now let's discuss the Engage effect. Essentially, you link up with other characters in combat by fighting within close proximity of them, and you build a percentage gauge up in the background. Once you max this out, you will see an icon telling you to press both triggers on your controller above a character's head. Now that you've engaged, well, the Engage effect, this gives you different abilities based on what the characters you're fighting with skills are, so some are like boosting defense, increasing damage, or giving you additional item effectiveness. You can read up on which characters have which effects in between the missions, and I believe you might even be able to change some of their effects too. Burst mode. This is a very important thing for your victory in battle, so It's really great against those AFarCryAway or the OMFG why won't you just freaking die monsters. Burst arts are only available during burst mode, and are what allow you to do those sick moves we talked about earlier. Pop these moves off for big damage and Tony Hawk tier combos. You can achieve burst mode by having an Aragami bullet fired at you from a teammate, but there is a hard cap of only being able to bring about 3 of these into battle with you per person. You can also take a bite out of the AFarCryAway using your Devour skill to achieve burst status. You can use either the Quick Devour or the Charged Devour to the same effect. I'd almost always recommend the quick one, as you can do it in the ground or in the air, leaving you less exposed. Now, burst mode will not insta-kill things, but it will sure pack an extra punch when you need it. You can play God Eater 3 in co-op with up to 4 of your friends throughout the campaign missions, and the game is really a prime example of everything being better with buddies along for the ride. I've found that emoting with my friend Callie has been some of the most hilarious moments of the game so far. And besides, without friends to play with, who else are you supposed to show off your sick new weapons to? There are also assault missions in which you can cooperate with up to 8 players against very powerful Aragami. These enemies are not pushovers and will test the skills of all players present. I'd advise not touching these until you've clocked a few hours into the game and have a decent understanding of it and a nice build setup. If you underperform during these, it can drag the entirety of your team down, but don't feel like you're never able to help. It just takes a little bit of time and practice.
Oh my god.
What is that?
It's hell.
Oh, wonderful.
Stay away. It's really weak to lasers, but yeah, has a force field.
Oh, nuts.
The force field does nothing against
Like melee?
melee, but number 1, it takes like next to no damage from melee, and number 2, it has a melee proof shield as well that it can use.
Now, there are very few things to complain about from my experience, but there were a few things that have mildly annoyed me, such as the fact that you are forced to talk to multiple characters in between missions. Now, this wouldn't be so bad, except for that they don't show you where to find them. Again, this isn't a huge deal, as all the areas aren't very large, so it's not very hard to find these people, and it only maybe takes a few extra seconds out of your life, but it would be nice to have a little bit of an indication as to which zone to talk to people in and things like that. Now, sometimes the text chat of the other characters will tell you where to go, so again, it's kind of like giving you hints, but it's not always clear. I also believe that the level design, while absolutely beautiful and a huge step up from God Eater 2, does feel a little bit too constricted. I really feel like I'm being pressed against invisible walls all of the time. Now, I understand that every God Eater has play spaces like this, but after playing that other monster hunting game, this does feel like a bit of a downgrade in terms of exploration and immersion into the world. My last complaint is the story. Now, while it is pretty good and has some pretty cool moments, it has some pacing issues. It feels like you meet a new person and within 2 seconds they're your best friend and party member. I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish that they had taken a little bit more time with this to flesh people out, but to be fair, I do suppose you can talk to these people in between missions, and if I were doing that more often, maybe it would flesh out characters a bit more. Now, I do have one additional complaint, and that is the lip sync. It is terrible. For the love of God Eater, please fix this in a new game. Like, I understand the Japanese language and the English aren't the same with the mouth movements, and they don't want to do like extra work, but it would be a nice additional thing considering there are quite a few people who speak English who like God Eater. It would just be a nice additional touch. However, I understand this game might have had more of a limited budget, so I can kind of get like why it had to make a compromise there. Now, I do want to tell you guys that I have not beaten this game yet. It is a very long game, and I do not feel like it would be very fair to just give this game like a review score right now. So this is more of like a first impressions kind of video, but at the same time, I did want to share it with you. I think this game is very fun in the right context and with friends. It is well worth your time. And if you do like Monster Hunter and you want something that's a little bit faster and you can just do like a 5 to 10 minute game and then go, and it's something you can pick up and play for a quick burst of fun and then leave it down, I think God Eater 3 is perfect for that. And if you're into the whole like anime silly storyline thing, this has plenty of that too, and like I said at the beginning of the video, plenty of waifu bait. And with that, I would like to thank you all for watching my brief review/impressions video of God Eater 3. I wanted to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but it's kind of hard to show off good gameplay footage and do that at the same time, so I apologize about that. But if you enjoyed this type of content and want more videos just like this one, please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, feel free to support my Patreon page. It helps me be financially stable enough to do more videos like this and buy more games. Thank you all again for watching the video. Until next time, I still don't have a catchphrase or a sign-off. Bye-bye.